Soft glam makeup for beginners. To start, I'm using setting spray as my primer because it is thin and it will also help me blend out my foundation. I typically use 2 pumps of foundation for a more dramatic look. I like to be efficient, so I apply the highlighter not only to my under eye but also to my eyelids. I continue by placing highlighter in areas that I want to brighten. This is definitely something you want to do very lightly if you are a beginner. This step could be skipped for everyday makeup, but I find that it really helps your face stand out whenever you are going to be taking pictures or during an evening event. Right now I am doing my first round of blending. I find that especially under the eye area, this helps with reducing creasing. This also makes it easier to blend out whenever I'm ready to use my makeup sponge. I'm not a makeup artist, but I have been practicing my makeup for quite a bit of time. And what I would say, again, like I mentioned earlier, is that less is more. If you are not comfortable putting this much highlighter or even contour, I would always say start with less and build upon it as you get better with your skills. Now that I've added my contour, I like to blend it out for another round of blending with my makeup sponge with a little bit of setting spray. I usually do not wet my setting sponge, but this time I decided to do that and it did help with blending. I always like to look down when I blend my eye out because it reduces creasing. This is just one layer of reducing creasing that I have learned over many times of doing my makeup. I believe one of the most crucial steps in makeup is the blending. You're probably going to have to blend over and over and over again because you don't want there to be any harsh lines. And honestly, even by the end of this, I saw that I can probably still have blended even more. So I'm going to be doing a bit of blending for the next couple of seconds. But I just want to let you know that blending is probably the most important thing when it comes to any level of makeup artistry. I usually finish off my blending with the brush that I use to apply my foundation. I do this next step to reduce under eye creasing. Now, I believe putting my head in this particular position reduces the creasing, especially once I lift my head up, and specifically after I apply my setting spray. This has been working for me, and I think it's because when I tilt my head forward, my creases are technically open. The use of light powder and setting spray has significantly reduced my creasing, but it does not stop it completely. This is probably my favorite part of applying makeup, and it is doing the eyebrows. I always like to start at the arch, and that's where I put my darkest amount of product. And I drag it out to the tail using multiple strokes. And then I use the excess, whatever is still on the brush, to do the front of my brows. I always try to make sure that I don't do it too dark because then it kind of looks fake. I like my brows to look like they are gradually getting darker. I am not an eyeshadow guru by no means, but again, blending is key. And I recently learned that using the same color bronzer that you use on your cheeks and forehead and nose, you should use it as your eyeshadow if you're trying to go for that deepened, more evening look, because it tends to make your face look more cohesive. Do y'all remember in Top Model when Tyra Banks said you shouldn't match your eyeshadow to your clothes? Do y'all remember that? Well, I am definitely going to be doing exactly that. I don't know if it's still a faux pas, but my outfit is going to be orange and green or blue. So that's what I'm trying to give with my eyeshadow. Orange or green are honestly my go-to colors whenever I'm trying to quote unquote do a lot with my eyeshadow. And if you're a beginner and you want to add a little bit of pizzazz, I would suggest using at least one eyeshadow to give your eyes some pop. Now I have more slanted eyes and they are a bit smaller and they're a little hooded, so I like to use this under eye pencil that's lighter instead of a dark pencil because I feel like it makes my eyes stand out a little bit more. I also like to use this glitter shadow right in the center. I've seen a makeup artist do this and I felt like it did add a bit more glam to the look. Sorry I didn't film my eyeliner, but I will be tagging my favorite gel liner below. I always try to be super efficient, so I like to apply glue to both of my lashes at the same time. This is how I hold it, and while it's drying, I like to do something else on my face, like apply highlighter or finish my eyebrows if I hadn't already done that. A big mistake I always hear or see somebody do when they're applying their lashes is not allowing the glue to dry long enough. You definitely want it to dry at least 30 seconds so that when you apply it, it immediately rests on your lash without budging or getting on your lash line or lids and moving all over the place. As you can see, once I put it on, it's immediately staying. I do have to do some final pushing into my real lash, but overall they sit there and they stay. And one of the things I like to do is set it in the center and then push each corner in one at a time. I always like to have my chin up because I find that it gives the lash a place to rest on instead of trying to put the lash directly into my face. I like to put it on top of my lash. So I have to put my chin up to allow that position to work in my favor when I'm applying lashes. I wanted to try that cat eye look, so that's where you see me adding more eyeliner. And the bottom lash, I just try to be really, really careful because I tend to get the spider lash underneath my eye, but going slow and intentional is the best way to do your bottom lashes. At this point, I was rushing to leave the house, but I did line my lips with a dark brown crayon liner and filled it in with Rihanna's Fenty MVP. If you'd like to see how I got my hair into this look, check out the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.